Welcome to part 3 of my CSGO Cheating Explained series. I've been enjoying the feedback and the people liking the series that I made on a whim. So I got a lot of requests to do for part 3 terminology and playstyle. And just kind of go over what some of the features of an HVH or legit cheat mean. And I will only be covering HVH today because this series is mainly for HVH. And I'll probably cover legit stuff later. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna be in a private match, and I have a friend that's gonna be joining me pretty soon, so he can help me show what some of the features do and how to develop a good playstyle for the game. Alright, so let's just open up our menu here, and we're gonna go to our Rage tab. I have a config loaded right now, but I'm gonna be making a new config. So let's just go down to create. We're gonna call it test. Go up to our config. So as you can see, we've got a brand new config with absolutely nothing loaded, not even any skins. So we're in our general tab, and this I might be using one tab, but this does apply to most cheats because most cheats will have the same features. Enabled is self-explanatory. This is your main toggle button for your rage bot, whether or not your gun will shoot or not. So if there's an enemy and you have it set to hold, we'll just have our keybinds list right here. And it's set to hold whenever you set it to a keybind. So if I set it to mouse 4, you can see right there on your screen that if I see an enemy right here, it'll only toggle whenever I have hold, or I can set it to toggle or always on. And if you're using a rage cheat, 9 times out of 10 you're just gonna use it as always on. I don't know why you'd use anything else. Silent is something for legit and for HVH. That means that your client will not snap to the head of a player whenever he's in your point of view. That's only client side. If someone's overwatching you or watching an Overwatch, they will see you snap to someone's head. Otherwise, on your screen, you can be looking right here, and you can have an enemy right here. And if you have your rage bot on, your gun will shoot here, but the bullet will go to them. That's just how that works. Team check. Not all cheats have this. This is just so if you're raging and you have a friendly standing right here and an enemy right there, your client will not shoot if it risks killing a teammate. This doesn't really work. I don't really recommend having it on. Autoscope is also pretty self-explanatory. If you have a let me get some cash for myself. Let's get 60,000 max money. Autoscope, also pretty explanatory. This means that if you have a sniper and you have an enemy right there, your client will auto shoot. So I'm gonna autoscope. I'm gonna add one. I'm gonna add one guy on CT. I'm also gonna give myself God mode. So I'll go ahead and kind of show you what all these things mean right now. So we've got a bot in here. We're gonna go over to him, and I will explain kind of what I mean for some things. Alright. So you see right there how my client scoped in before, no Siri, how my client scoped in before I shot. If I had this off, I will round restart delay 1. I will kind of show you what it looks like if it has off. Again, I don't really need to explain this all that much. It's just Autoscope. Your client scopes in before it shoots. If you have it off, it's not that it makes your client less accurate, but it's just you're way more accurate whenever you scope in. These three buttons down here, not all cheats have. I don't know all cheats have a resolve or override or a force for these, but you can set this to hold toggle always none. Force body aim means that your client will always go for body. Force save point, get that in a second. Resolve or override, I would never really recommend that. That really means that you turn off your resolver so your client shoots more but misses a lot more. It's usually just not really a good idea. Getting down into exploits, hide shots. If I turn that on, hide shots uses tick-based manipulation to whenever you shoot, your client will not flick. Your head won't flick because obviously, you know, you have to look at here if you want to shoot. Hide shot's a little bit hard to explain. It's mainly useful with the auto, because you're shooting a lot more with the auto to hide your head. If you look very, very quickly, and I'll slow it down, you can see my head flicking with it off, and then with it on, there is absolutely no flick at all. So, head is staying down. You can kind of see my head starting to flick there, but I don't have all my settings on, so it's not going to look a little bit weird. Alright, so that's kind of how hide shots works. I recommend using it with the auto. If you're like in a 1v1 situation and you just want to hide your head more. I might have explained that wrong. If someone in the comment section can explain it a little bit better, I do a terrible job explaining hide shots. Double tap, use it with the auto. You can also use it with the deagle. Let me get a deagle here. I can't buy it. So if you watch my bottom right of my screen, whenever I have hide shots or a double tap on, you'll notice I'm shooting 2 bullets instead of 1. That's how double tap works with the auto, with the deagle, with almost any gun besides like a gun like the scout or the auto or the scout or the op. You can't shoot 2 bullets obviously because it only chambers one per shot. But this is very useful for if you force aim with this. Shooting 2 bullets can do 50-50 or 80-20 or, you know, do 100% damage in 2 shots. This is how a lot of people HVH right here. It's kind of a new meta, more or less. So this is kind of a very good way to get kills with the SCAR if you're not confident in getting headshots or going all head. I recommend it. I highly recommend it if you're just starting with HVH, turning on with the auto, turning on force body aim, setting that to a keybind, and turning on double tap to always on, and just using auto. I guarantee you'll have a much better experience because you'll probably get more kills this way. This is just how a lot of people start using force aim double tap. Keep in mind it could make you miss more depending on how much you're shooting or how far away someone is. If someone is right there, you're not going to miss as much, but if someone is way over there and you're double tap aiming, you might miss a little bit more because they're farther away, so you have a higher chance to miss due to spread. That is 2 ways you could miss, is spread and resolver. Sometimes it'll tell you here, if you have it set to, it'll tell you up there. Missing due to spread just means that your gun bullets didn't go where you were aiming. Everybody knows what spread is. If you don't know what spread is, just look it up, CSGO, what is spread. That's #1 chance, or #1 reason why you'll miss with the scouts, is due to spread. Sometimes one tap will miss due to resolver, but it'll never tell you that it missed due to resolver. That's not anything that you can fix, and not anything that they can fix either, except to get a better resolver. So never really have it bother you too much if you miss due to a resolver. these are just some extras that One Tap has. A lot of other cheats have this, but it might be in different places. Fake Flick. Fake Flick is something that I never really use, and I don't really know a lot of other people that use it because it kind of doesn't work. So if I set all these to, it's kind of hard to, I don't even think my client will do it unless there's an enemy right there. But basically it'll flick your head out really fast, like once or twice. But there's a chance I've had to flick my reel out, and then I've gotten my head ripped off because of that. So I don't really recommend it if you have One Tap. Instant double tap. This just makes your double tap a little bit faster, but could make it less accurate. So if I turn that on, I don't really think it makes your double tap any faster. But then again, it's really hard to notice because it works off ticks. You always have to give a little bit of time to recharge before it can shoot 2 bullets at the same time again. All these things in the middle are just stuff that goes with the exploits: fast reload, fast switch, fast throw, teleport stop. Break LC is break lag comp. Break lag comp makes it a little bit easier for you to, or a little bit harder for you to get backtracked, which I'll explain in a little bit. So if I'm right here and and there's a guy right there and I want to get behind the wall and I go like this, break LC makes it a little bit harder for him to hit my backtrack, but not impossible, depending on how good the cheats resolver is. Over here in targeting, FOV is how much on your screen your aimbot will shoot at. So if you have a FOV of 0, you have to be on their body to kill them. If you have a FOV of 180, that's all around, in front of you, behind you, left and right. If you're HVH and you never have any lower than this, doesn't really make any sense for it to have it lower than that. Minimum damage is super important. Probably one of the biggest things about an HVH cheat is its min damage along with hit chance. I'll really quickly go over what I recommend for the Scout, Op, and Auto Sniper. So with the Scout, let me just load a config here, and I'll show you what I have. For the Scout, this config, or my config, uses 60. For the Op, HP plus 1, or you can just do 100 HP if you can't go above that. With the Auto Sniper, I either use 20 or dynamic, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So starting with the Scout, about middle of the road and minimum damage makes it so that your config will hit head half of the time, the other half of the time it won't miss, or it won't not shoot due to your min damage being too high, because it's about 60, so it'll bane pretty easily. And that works usually with your hit chance. So the higher your hit chance is, the more your client has to get before it'll shoot. So if I've got a guy right here and I have a hit chance of 80, my client has to have an 80% chance of hitting him in order to shoot. If it's 0, then your client's just going to shoot no matter what, because it doesn't have a hit chance of hitting him. If it's 100, your client has to be able to do damage in order to shoot. So it has to do at least 60 damage in order to shoot. 100% hit chance is like kind of stupid, because if someone's 40% health and you have 100% hit chance and you're behind a wall and so are they, you're never going to be able to shoot them because your min damage and your hit chance are way too high. So I use about 80 because that'll ensure that I don't miss all that much, but it also ensures that my client shoots at safer points and doesn't miss a whole lot, which is another reason why I like this config so much. Auto Sniper, a low minimum damage is always recommended because it'll make your client shoot way more with the Auto Sniper. And I usually pair it with about middle of the road hit chance, about 60 to 55. This is just my recommendation. Again, depending on what cheat you use, you could have a different experience. It's completely based on how your client works. So if you have Aimware, GameSense, or Nemesis or something like that, your cheat might work differently with its resolver and your hitboxes and stuff, and you might want to set it something different. I've seen people use 70 min damage with an Auto Sniper and rip off heads like it's nothing with a great resolver. So it's definitely totally possible. The next next feature that I want to go over, or the next part of your rage bot, is hitboxes, which is really important. You got head. This will be different for some cheats. They might have more or less. You've got head through feet. With the auto, I just usually turn all of them on because you want to shoot at everything. With the scout, I usually turn off legs because it has to recharge, so usually it's not all that great of an idea to have it go for feet and toes and shit. This is all up to how you do your cheat. I really can't tell you how to do your cheat. I can tell you what I recommend, but I really recommend at the most playing around with it and understanding how your cheat works, because that is the best way to learn how to HVH, is to mess around with your cheat and experiment and do what works best for you, not what someone else tells you. Because the best way for you to become good at HVHing is to develop your playstyle on your own, make your own config, your own settings, your own anti-aim, and get good at it on your own without someone being able to help you. That'll allow you to understand your config and your cheat a lot better, and over time it'll make you better HVHer using your own config, tweaking settings here and there whenever you're playing a game, and eventually making the quote-unquote perfect the perfect config. Coming down to our last things, we have Autostop. What Autostop will do is, if you are walking or you're running towards someone and they come in your field of view like this guy, your client will auto stop. So if I turn on my rage bot, you'll be able to see, if he peeks out, come on, that my client will auto slow down, auto stop. Oh, I didn't have everything on. So these are different settings. You can do force accuracy, lethal, visible only. Duck means that your client will crouch before it shoots. This I've seen this to be really useful with scouting, because it'll make your config a lot more accurate. Let me turn on this. It'll make it a lot more accurate, but the trade-off is that it takes an extra second to shoot, which could make you vulnerable. But you know, if you're willing to sacrifice that and make yourself more accurate, it has made me hit more shots and rip off more heads with the scout. So I'd recommend just kind of messing around with it. Your cheat might not have that. If it doesn't, then nothing you can really do. Prefer save point means that your cheat will prefer not shooting if it's not 100% able to hit a shot. So if you have a hit chance of 60 and your client can do 61%, but you know they're behind a wall and you prefer the save point, that means it still won't shoot until it can get a better shot in. A little bit hard to explain, but basically it just makes you more accurate. And prefer body aim means that you're not forcing it, but your client will shoot body if it's able to. And it will not shoot head unless it has basically a perfect chance of hitting head. So this is mostly what I can explain with the Rage Bot tab. Again, it's just better for you to learn it yourself and, you know, get a cheat and go into a match with it and really just learn how it works and configure yourself and, you know, kind of just mess around with it. I always recommend that. Getting into anti-aim, this is a huge thing that you need to learn on your own, because anti-aim, in my opinion, is way more important than the Rage Bot itself. I'm going to go over what one tap does. A lot of cheats, mostly every cheat, will do anti-aim differently. So if you don't have one tap, you know, follow along, but your cheat will probably be different, just because that's just how it goes. Like, I know Aimware has a very different anti-aim system from one tap, and it's honestly, what I've heard, way worse. They made it a lot worse. So enabled, you know, just enables it at targets. It means that, oh. So at targets, if I turn that off, let me just go up to this guy. So you can see right now that my guy spins where my mouse is. At targets, as you can see, when I'm spinning my mouse, he's not spinning. but rather whenever Marvin here moves, he will correct his position based off where Marvin is. That's what at targets is. Your client will hide your body or hide your desync based off where your enemy is on the map. And it's also, I think it's based on what's closest to your model. So I don't know how some cheats do it. I know one tap doesn't give you an option. Auto direction is like if you're behind a wall and you're peeking, it'll auto hide your head. I don't really recommend doing this because it could mess up and accidentally peek your head out. Your mouse direction, I don't even know what that really is. I've never used it before. Manual direction is your left, right, and back direction. You can auto set where your guy will have. So like if you're behind this wall and you want to hide your head, you use manual direction and peek like that. If you're using you know, back, then you will always hide in your head no matter where you are, unless they're of course behind you. Okay. That's kind of how that tab works. That's just the base settings. Yaw and Jitter Offset are, so if you have a yaw offset, it'll spin your model based off of what your offset is, and then jitter is the higher it is, the more insane your jitter goes. As you can see. Again, every cheat's different. Not every cheat is going to do this the same. Really just recommend that you experiment with it yourself. I cannot say that enough. It's all about knowing how your cheat works and you know, getting experience with your own cheat. I've seen a lot of people complain, why is my cheat not shooting? I downloaded this config off of the forums, it's not working. That's because not everybody's playstyle is the same. You really need to get your own playstyle. I'm gonna tell you about my playstyle, and then I'm gonna tell you what I recommend, but I'm not gonna tell you how to copy someone's playstyle. I want you to develop your own playstyle. Fake angles. If I can turn on a visualizer. Let's see here. Let me just get a config. Let's do this one. So, fake angles. What is fake angles? Fake angles is basically your desync. Desync is your model, but in a different LBY. It's hard to, I don't even know how to explain it. So the white is me, the black is my desync. Basically, how it works is, whenever you're behind a wall, or whenever you're like this, you want to peek your desync out, because you want them to shoot your desync, your fake angle, and you peek your real out. You peek your real out, and you shoot them while they're dumping your fake angle. This is really important. If you don't have a desync, you're gonna get destroyed 99% of the time. Unless you're going against an absolutely shitty cheat and they can't even resolve a real angle, which is ridiculous. But some cheats are that bad. So, like this cheat has a inverter, which basically will flip your desync. So if I'm right here and I want to flip it like this, if I'm on the other side and I want to flip it, you can see how my real flips so that my desync's on the other side. There's a whole bunch of options here that you can do. Your LBY mode, it defines what your fake angle does. So if you have sway, it'll move back and forth to keep your desync active. Normal is just, I think, static. Opposite, I don't really know why they call it this. It's kind of not really what it's called. Opposite is I guess, just your desync is on the opposite side whenever you flip it. I just use normal. Desync on shot means that whenever you shoot, your desync will flip. It either means that it'll flick, or flip, or it'll just turn to a different angle to hide your head better. Let me turn off my anti-aim or my rage bot real quick. Hide real angle. If you this just means, God, I don't even really know. This is kind of stupid. I usually just have these checked on. Fake desync lines up your desync and your real, even though it's like this, it's actually just lined up. An inverter flip, you can have it set to auto flip while you run in air or something. Again, just do it yourself and figure out what works best for you. This is probably the most important part of your anti-aim. So depending on how your cheat works, this is what you should spend the most time on. Fake lag, pretty obvious. Fake lag is just how much your client will produce fake lag to make your desync easier to hit and your head harder to hit. So if you have 14 tick limit, then it'll fake lag as much as possible. Your jitter fake lag is how much your jitter will activate on fake lag. You have triggers, so this is every trigger on when your client will fake lag, and then your trigger limit. I usually use 14 fake lag for like HVH servers, and then if you're going on MM, usually turn it down to about 3. Cause I think 4 is the limit for MM. I could be wrong. Coming down to extra, jitter move just means that you jitter while you move, even if you have jitter turned off. So if I turn it off here, it still means that you jitter while you move. Fake duck is really big. Fake duck is basically, if I've got an enemy right here, if I fake duck, you can see I can still shoot as if I'm standing up, but my body is down here, and then whenever I shoot, it'll peak my on shot a little bit extra. Nobody can hit me while I'm fake ducking here, but I can shoot anybody right there. This is, all people do this, especially on this spot, Mirage. This is a really popular spot to do it. If anybody ever calls you out for fake ducking, don't listen to them, because it's a completely viable way to get a kill. There's nothing wrong with using fake duck to get a kill. It just means that you're using your resources more than the person you're killing. But don't fake duck everywhere. Like if someone's right here, you have no reason to fake duck up to them. It'll actually make you less accurate. Never fake duck in the open, only behind something that cannot be wall banged, so no one can shoot you through this. So it's cool to sit in a fake duck. If someone's right here in Mirage, you can fake duck right here and still shoot them. I'm gonna turn on bullet impacts, so you can see that I can shoot through that right here. You can see I'm fake ducking, I'm still able to shoot right there. I'm not really gonna go over all the one-way spots and all the fake duck spots on these maps, because you can download JavaScripts and Lua scripts for helping you out with that, and there's just so many. Slow walk. When you hold shift, obviously you slow walk. This is the same for if you're not cheating, but you can set it to slide fast, which you can see, and then you can set it to slide slow or accurate, which I just use. It just means that your feet stay like that and your desync stays active. That's mostly everything I'm gonna go over for Rage and Anti-Aim. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment in the description. Again, I covered this on my first part, I believe. I will post that Reddit guide to giving a basic explanation to what every feature does, especially with HVH. So if I didn't explain something all that well, or you want a second explanation, you can always go and check that. So I'm gonna go and join an HVH server, and I'm gonna try to show in explicit detail what I've explained. So let's load up a config here, and let's just join the server. Let's go to this one. And of course, I'm going to mute the server, unless you're not being loud, which is the first.
these tags look a bit sus. I think someone's using a one-tap JavaScript. Not gonna lie, bro. What's up with them tags, dog? Hey. What's up with that tag though?
All right. So right now I don't have anything showing my desync. I don't usually use that. So I got a guy right here. I could hide my head and peek out like this. But usually I just keep on the back to hide my head. There's a guy right here. I can fake duck right here, and if they peek, my client's gonna shoot them and give me some pretty easy kills, as you can see. But I got this guy coming at me right here, so I can't really. Chuck a nade over there. Oh, I kind of stopped looking at him. I forgot he was there. So, perfect example of how that fake duck works. You saw me shoot him right there. We're gonna speed up here to the next round. So I'm gonna use the scout for this next round. Gonna see what we can get here. Kind of hard to give you live examples. I don't know how the enemy team is gonna perform, but we will see. Alright, so we got our guy Godlike right here. If he peeks out and does not peek his head out, I'm not gonna peek because it's pretty easy way for me to ensure that I'm not gonna hit his head. You can see I missed due to spread. I forgot to buy armor. Oops. Alright, that was a shitty round. Oh, one thing I did not explain is backtrack. Backtracking someone basically means hitting their player model in real time, but about 200 to 400 milliseconds before where they were. It's pretty easy to understand. If he peeks out and then goes behind cover, I have 200 milliseconds to hit his real model. Oh jeez. By default, Rage Auto has that on. You can actually set it right here, but your Rage file will auto backtrack depending on what cheat you have. I'm not really going to go over visuals and miss because they're all really self-explanatory, and every cheat is different for those. So it's, unless you have one tap, it's pretty useless to go over.
Mad.
You can see I'm using nades to my advantage, trying to get people's health down. Pretty good kill right there. Now right there, I don't think I fake ducked fast enough, and that's why I died. All right, let's use our scar for this. We're gonna turn on double tap. We're not gonna turn on hide shots. I don't tend to use hide shots all that much. Alright, we're gonna rush this guy right here. Nice. So I double tapped him for 34 and then for 81, as you can see right there. But now I'm bameable, so I'm probably gonna die. Like, if I peek that guy, I'll probably die. Yeah. Alright. That's kind of a layman way of showing you what some of the features do, and I hope this video was helpful to people. I hope I did a good job explaining things. If I did not, or you don't understand something, please leave a comment and I will try my best to explain it further or better. I'm not sure what part 4 is going to be. If you have any recommendations for what part 4 is, let me know. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.